Hello, and welcome to another episode of Freedom Ain't Free. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the value of a stay-at-home parent's paycheck, right? And the interesting thing about it is most people get this wrong, right? They don't bring home a paycheck. There's no exact dollar amount that's coming into the home from an economic standpoint, but is there actually a value that we can attach to that stay-at-home parent? We want to talk about that today. A lot of times when we look at our life, we look at them through our lens, right? So if you're the breadwinner in the family, if you're a Henry, a high earner, not rich yet, and you've been, putting in years, you've been putting in time into your career, and you've developed this strong six-figure income, and you put your family in a position where your spouse can stay at home and take care of and maintain your home business, which you're going to talk about in a few minutes, but they don't actually have an economic value that comes into the home. The question we got to ask ourselves is, if we lose our spouse, what is the economic impact on the family for losing a spouse that doesn't have a traditional paycheck? What it would cost to replace his wife, right? Economically, right? So yes, he could go, he could find a new wife from that perspective, right? We can't put a value specifically on love, but we can put a value on all the other pieces of the puzzle. And when you begin to evaluate your portfolio, you begin to notice that there's some areas that have some holes in it, right? And we want to address those holes. Now here, we want to encourage you, get your freedom number. It's in the link below. Click on the link, get your freedom number. I'm going to tell you the exact amount of money that you need to save on a monthly basis in order for you to get to financial freedom. Once you're at financial freedom, you got $2 million in your investment portfolio. You're earning $120,000 to $160,000 a year from your assets. Then your family is taken care of. You don't have to worry about it because you're no longer living off your labor. You're now living off of your assets. But we got to get from point A to point B. So most of financial planning falls into three areas of planning. The first area of planning is protection. Second area of planning is accumulation. Third area of planning is wealth, right? So we got to build on all three. We work on all three at the same time. So let's talk about the economic value of a stay-at-home parent. First and foremost, they pretty much handle all your child care, right? So that stay-at-home parent is taking care of the kids. They're getting them up in the morning. They're getting them to school. They're getting them back home from school. They're taking them to daycare. Whatever child care needs you have, that stay-at-home parent is taking care of those things. So if you had to hire somebody to handle child care alone for your children, right, we would be spending thousands of dollars a month in providing for childcare for our children. Second thing, right, is I like to refer to it as household management, right? So there are things that go on in the household that you don't participate in, right? You don't go to the grocery store. You don't cook the meals. You don't clean up the house. You don't do the laundry. You're right. None of those things are a part of your daily agenda. You're focused in on your career. You're focused in on building the financial economics of the family, but there's still the household management pieces of the puzzle that have to go on, right? Somebody got to get them trash bags. Somebody got to make sure that the dryer vent is cleaned out. Somebody's got to manage the service workers coming to the house, right? So the guys are coming to cut the grass. They got to manage that. The guys are coming to handle, the cleaning out the gutters. They have to manage that. All of the pieces of the puzzle have to be managed to maintain your home. So if you had to pay somebody to manage all of those tasks within your home, again, thousands of dollars per month. Education. When we think about our children, yes, we drop them off at school, but that's the only one part of education. They got homework to do. They've got studying to do. They got preparation for their tests and exams to do. There's the maintenance of education in your home. Somebody's got to focus on educating the kids. And then what happens during the summertime when the kids are not in school? Does education stop? No, we had to keep educating our kids every single solitary day. Education also takes the form of manners. Education takes the form of proper etiquette. Education takes the form of, proper eating habits and learning how to take care of their personal items. All of those things fall on that stay-at-home parent schedule in order to make sure that your children are growing into productive adults, right? And so if you had to pay somebody to come in and do that, that would have a great economic cost to you at thousands of dollars per month. The next piece of the puzzle is transportation, right? Things that you don't think about, right? So your kids have got to get to and from school. They got to get to and from their events. Your spouse has got to get to and from their doctor's appointments, to their events, those pieces of the puzzle. Yeah, you make the car payment, but somebody still got to load all those other people into the car and get them from point A to point B. And so if you had to pay somebody, if you had to pay Uber, to pick up and drop off, right? All of those pieces of the puzzle, that would be an additional cost to you that you're currently not paying. I also want to talk about calendar management. And this is probably one of the biggest areas that stay-at-home parents handle for the family that the working parent doesn't really focus any attention on, pay any attention to, right? Calendar management, right? There's lots of other things that go on in life besides work. Right. So we have our social activities, we have our religious activities, we have our family functions, we got family reunions, we got cookouts, we got birthday parties, we have funerals. Right. Calendar management is one of the jobs of that stay-at-home parent, making sure that the entire family is getting to all of the places that the family needs to be at and on time. That includes you. Right, informing you of places that you need to be, times you need to be there. Calendar management is a huge job and a huge task for that stay-at-home parent. And so we want to make sure that we understand the economic value that goes along with completing all of those tasks for multiple people. If you got 3, 4, 5 kids, those pieces of the puzzle, just managing the calendar alone if you had to outsource that task, right, we would be spending thousands of dollars per month. The other area I want to talk about is simply peace of mind, right? A stay-at-home parent handles the management of the house. And because you know that your house is well taken care of, you don't think about any of the things that go into that on a daily basis. That is peace of mind. How much is peace of mind worth? How much would it cost you to find somebody that would deliver 10 times out of 10? How much money would it cost you to find somebody that you could count on every single solitary day? How much money would it cost you to find somebody that you would trust with your most valuable possessions? What would that person cost you on a daily basis? And oh, by the way, you would need them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? What's the price tag that we would attach to that? So here we want to talk about the economic value of a stay-at-home parent and think about how much would you have to pay to hire somebody to complete all of these tasks. Right now, don't forget that in addition to all of that, they still love you, right? And you can't really put a value on love, right? So, but the rest of these tasks we can put a value on. So I looked it up. I Googled the national average for a personal assistant. Mind you, a personal assistant is working 40 to 45 hours per week, and it's $48,000 is the national average for a personal assistant. It would take, on average, about 10 years to recover financially from the loss of a spouse. So if you got $48,000, $50,000 a year times 10 years, you would need to insure your spouse for a minimum of $500,000 in order to make sure that you had the resources necessary to maintain the lifestyle, the life function, the life spacing, the way you want to be able to manage your life. You would need a minimum of $500,000 or $50,000 a year for a 10-year period of time in order to be able to manage your life at the same way, to be able to still focus in on your career, to be able to work the hours that you want to work, to be able to put in what you need to put in on that side to make the rest of the money. You would need your house taken care of, and that's going to cost you at a minimum of $50,000 per year. So if I was buying a term insurance policy on my spouse, I would want to have at least $500,000 to cover me in that window for a minimum of 10 years until I got my investments to that $2 million dollar amount where me and my family are now financially free. We want to encourage you on today. Click on the link below, get your freedom number for free. Find out exactly how much money you need to save on a monthly basis to build out that $2 million portfolio so that you can be financially free. In the meantime, we want to encourage you to get you some term insurance on your stay-at-home parent. That way you know that your family is taken care of while you're building out this portfolio for your freedom. Learn how to live off of your assets, not off your income. Here at the Freedom Ain't Free channel, our goal and objective is to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that you need to get to financial freedom. What I want you to remember, though, is freedom ain't free. See you on our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the link. Get your freedom number today.